Day-to-day consistency looks like nothing is happening because you're living and you're going through this process. So you will need to stop yourself and just take a look around. And what you realize is that so many things have changed, but you have to stop to see it. You realize that life is better. So day to day, it didn't look like anything, but it's like when you're growing. I grew 8 inches in 1 year. And I didn't realize that I had grew 8 inches in 1 year, but it took for me to see people that I hadn't seen in 1 year to realize that I had grew 8 inches. At that time, we're not like going to the doctor getting measured in height. You just grow, and then you see people that you haven't seen, family members and friends, and they said, "Man, you grew." This is how consistency is, but you're in that, you're living that. So here's the thing. Your preparation is not going to happen with applause, with people clapping for you, with an audience. Your preparation is going to happen in obscurity because the world, see, we think that the world rewards the best and we try to be the best. The world doesn't reward the best. The world rewards the most prepared. This is why you go to school to be a doctor. This is why you to be a lawyer. The person that's most prepared for the case is the one that's going to win. The person that's more prepared for the surgeries are going to be the one that make the most money. What is our problem with the day-to-day consistency? Many people's problem is they need excitement. They hate the boredom. And for you to make tremendous, see, it's easy to be a step ahead of most people because most people are very lackadaisical. They don't live with intention. They don't try to stretch beyond the norm. And so this is why they have the norm. This is why they're very predictable. People are predictable because they do the same things. And that boredom, people run from monotony. People run from the boredom, but it's just the details, like they say. They say devil's in the details, but we'll use God for the sake of the conversation. God is in the details. The greatness is in the details. The life you want is in the details. The life you want is in the boredom because most people, they can't stand it. But that's where you think somebody wants to really just sit up and be with the same person. Let's use a simple example. Some people say, "Oh, I can't sleep with the same person for 30, 40 years." You think that somebody may not think that someone else is attractive, that they may not go through those issues, those problems. But for 30 years, it's the monotony. They're bored, but they figure it out within that scheme of things. And so what happens is, what is your reward? You're the most prepared. You have a family of 6 or 7 or 5. All your children have graduated. You had a great marriage. Your payout, because you decided, you didn't wake up one day, it's like, I've outgrown this person, and then you just split up. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I'm making a point that the reasons that people really don't arrive to that final destination is the boredom. You think people like going to work every day for 30, 40 years, maybe with people, coworkers, and individuals that they don't like. But what's the reward for going to work every day, driving the same direction every day for 30 years, seeing the same people? Maybe some people are different people. You got a pension. You got $2, $3, $4, $5,000 a month for the rest of your life. That's the payout for being bored. The preparation is what I'm speaking about. So dealing with the boredom is a part of the preparation, which we can't stand. So many people, they can't stand that. But that's the part, because you can't see it, because now we're microwave society. So when you microwave society, you don't have enough time. You're not watering and allowing it to grow. You're watering it, and then you're going the next day looking at the seed saying, where's the fruit? But you haven't given anything. So it's work to till the land. It's work to see it through. It's hard to see things through because that boredom is a beast. The monotony, you got to do the same thing every day over and over. I promise you, whoever has something that you admire, they have mastered or they know how to deal with boredom and monotony, because that's where your improvement comes in. And your improvement is not going to come from you hanging out all the time. Your improvement is going to come from you doing the opposite of that. Your improvement is not going to come from you being entertained, which we love to do all the time. Your improvement is going to come from developing skills, from reading. Your improvement is not going to come from you eating cookies and donuts and hamburgers and hot dogs and fried catfish and whiting. Your improvement is going to come from you eating better. Your improvement is going to come from you being in the gym by yourself, training. If you have a trainer, cool. It's still through obscurity that you make the most strides. Obscurity, in the dark. When you're away, you have to be able to be in the dark. You have to be able to be away. You have to be able to understand that a lot of the things that you're going to have to do is you're born by yourself. So you're going to have to do these things. Oftentimes without the assistance of other people, because people typically, they don't want to help you or they don't even respect you until you've shown yourself to be at a certain level. So you want to know how you're going to improve in obscurity. The things that you're already doing, keep doing those things each and every day. You don't see it until somebody else tells you, but stop and look. Or if you've been at something for 6 months, if you've been at something for a year, just stop and take a look. Stop and look around and realize that things have gotten better. You just couldn't see them because you were going through them. Just like I couldn't see that I had grew 8 inches until the people that I hadn't seen in a while told me. And then I was looking up above these people. It's the preparedness that we're after. And that's in the dark. To come to the light, you have to first be in the dark. So you go through the cycle of daytime and nighttime, and before the sun comes up, it's dark. It's the obscurity. It's not through the applause. See, people, this is why we say people, they love to tell people things because they love to get the false dopamine hits. You want to get credit for something that you haven't done. So you're announcing everything. But a wise person does not announce. A wise person understands that it's the obscurity. It's the darkness that everybody runs from. See, this is what they mean. Everybody runs from the darkness. But that's where the development takes place. So that you can be prepared when something happens. You can be prepared. Now you're financially prepared. So now you can purchase whatever it is that you want. You're prepared skill-wise so you can get the business or the job that you want. But it ain't amongst everybody that you're going to get prepared with people clapping. It may be with you by yourself, building yourself. Not maybe, it is. With tears, sweat, blood, all those things. So it's the preparation is what's going to determine where you land. And we need time for that. We need to embrace boredom, not run from boredom. If that's pretty much most of the battle, the boredom. And this is where society changed it. If you read the book, The 40 Laws of Power, it was the 50th Law with Robert Greene and 50 Cent. I think he explains that there was a time in society where we were accustomed to being bored. And as this 21st century, as this started to happen, because people had things to do around the house, on the land, at work. So life was far less sedentary and people were moving. But with the more sedentary lifestyle, with the luxuries started to come, people wanting to be entertained and people not being able to be bored. Ask someone to sit around without their phone right now. Watch what will happen to a person if you ask them to go a day or two without their phone. Most people. But if you think about the monotony, if you think about the boredom, you had a different type of person during that time. Those people are different than us. People always ask, well, my grandmother lived this long, 93 years old, and they were smoking and drinking and doing all this. That's a different person. They had a different resolve. They did more with less. So now that we have more, we can do more, but we have to still adopt the basic principles, even that they had. Their basic principles. We must do what we know needs to get done. We can't run from that, and people run from that. And they want to continue to be entertained. They want to continue to be in the limelight. But you can't be in the limelight and get prepared. Usually a person is in medical school, they don't have time to fraternize with everybody. They got to go off. They got to study. They got to be ready for the test. Same thing with law school. So you don't see those people that much. And then you look 10 years later and you look up and they're working in a hospital, clocking dollars or euro or pesos or birr. And you realize, like, man, I remember when I didn't see them. Now look at them. They paid the price of monotony. They prepared themselves in obscurity. So don't be afraid to go into the darkness, to go off the map. Because that's what's required quite often. That is what's required. The preparedness, that's what you want. You want to be prepared. That's the beauty. And that's what's going to get you the results. You being prepared. Not you wanting the applause of everyone, because being prepared, eventually you get all the things that you look for on the surface. You eventually get those things through being prepared. Because by being prepared and coming through when you need to come through, and executing is the word I'm looking for. You get respect when you execute. And you execute because you're prepared. And you're prepared because you are willing to go into obscurity for a period of time with the understanding of the goal that you had. But if all you want to do is have fun, then life is going to be hard later on. So one way or the other, we pay the price. We pay the price early or we pay the price later. And typically when you're willing to pay the price later, you're a liability, and it's much more harsh. It's much more harsh. That's the thing. We prepare yourself. This is all I'm saying. Prepare yourself. Go into the darkness and prepare yourself. Because that's what's missing. The entertainment, everybody wants to be entertained now. But yet they still want the things that come from a person that prepared themselves. They want those trappings of life. They want the money associated. They want the adulation. They want the respect. They want the materials. Prepare yourself, and there's nothing. And by preparing yourself, you're also building character. Prepare yourself, and there's nothing that you won't be able to have.